Hello everyone, and welcome back. I must apologize, it's been a long time since you've heard from me. The world has gone a little bit crazy since last I've talked to you.
Has the whole world gone crazy?
Little catch up. I want to talk about some things I've been discussing on Twitter and in a few other places with some other researchers. I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work. Not really had a lot of time to watch a lot of long videos or spend a lot of time on YouTube, but I have been doing a lot of posting on Twitter, lots and lots of different sites, topics. I've been doing a lot of collaborating, talking to a lot of you guys. Thank you all for subscribing, by the way. I've gotten over 500 followers on Twitter in almost no time, so appreciate that very much. I have some guys I want to mention real quick, recent followers that we've kind of struck up some good conversations. I want to give them shout outs. Paul Queen Michael, you have been posting some amazing footage lately, and I really appreciate your discussions with me. Skunkworks, you are doing a great service to the community. I want to shout him out. He is putting the bevel blocks, the nubs, metal clamps, and the cart ruts literally on the map for us. So go to his Twitter account and check out the links to these maps and add to them. There's a long way to go on every one of these. Arawoke Politicon, don't let his name fool you. He is not about politics. He's all about ancient history. Really appreciate our discussions, and you are posting a lot of good footage, so definitely follow him. I need to point out that Max Egan over at the Crow House channel got his channel deleted recently. Now, Max has some very controversial opinions on some things, and some of his recent videos have gotten into current events, which have got him into a little bit of trouble. But he has talked about ancient history in the past, and I did appreciate all those videos that he uploaded. I would really like for him to get back to ancient history. Hopefully he will someday. But I just want to point out that, yes, his channel has been deleted. He is over on BitChute now, and he also has renamed his AOD Scarecrow, the old account of his backup account. He has renamed that to the Crow House, so going forward it should be the same on YouTube until that channel gets deleted. But I digress. If you guys are on Instagram, a must subscribe account is Megalithic Marvels. This account has been hosting, I guess, user-submitted photos from around the world, tourists and people just submitting their photos. Amazing footage, guys. Stuff that we've seen before, but not in this kind of clarity. You know, they have some really good access to some places that I guess normal tourists don't get sometimes, but whoever hosts this site only posts the best footage. So if you guys want to find some good angles of things that you might not have seen before, this is the account to follow. So they're on Twitter as well, but they don't post to that account very much. My buddy Ziggy Dan has been doing a lot of good work on his channel lately. Definitely recommend you guys go subscribe to him because he is criminally undersubscribed to right now. Nubs at the Tomb of the Patriarchs. I have this pinned at the top of my account on Twitter. That is a really good video, Ziggy. That shows the nubs all around, the old city of Jerusalem and surrounding areas. So great connection there. And we knew about it, but we just didn't have a lot of good pictures to prove it. And I think Ziggy went through it with a fine-tooth comb and found them all. So it's all set to music, really quick cuts for those guys with short attention spans that just want to get the images and move on. Ziggy's a good account for that, kind of like Vlad9VT. He just throws a whole bunch of pictures at you and leaves it up to you to figure them out. And then my buddy Phil over at Ancient Alternative View, he has been doing good work on the stone nub language. Now we've talked about the idea of the nubs being language in some cases, where they're obviously not for lifting, and they are in specific patterns on walls, amphitheater seats like we've seen, or I'm going to show you more of at least. The nubs on hieroglyphics, there's actually glyphs within the hieroglyphics that appear to be nubs, a specific shape of nub. It's a sideways D shape, Let me pause and show you real quick. So another good shout out, Larry Sage Silent on Instagram. You might know him as AIP on YouTube. Larry got us a great picture here. So this is inside the Great Pyramid. This is the portcullis slab nub. There aren't almost any pictures of this. This might be the fourth or fifth photo in existence of this artifact or hieroglyph, whatever you want to call it. JJ Ainsworth over on Megalithic Maiden channel has a video where they're inside and she quickly shows it with her camera. It's good footage, but this is right up close and personal. You can even see the grain. It's obviously the same mineralogy as the block. It's not a petrified piece of wood or anything like that. It is actually the same material as the stone. It is very interesting, isn't it? It has a distinct shape. It is a sideways capital D shape. And we've been referring to this as the boss mark nub because in some literature about another site in Egypt, they found another similar portcullis slab. Ziggy knows about this. There is a portcullis style slab like this one that was found amongst some poor quality walls, and they refer to the nub on that block as a boss mark made by the builder. And I like the idea of that, and we kind of ran with it. So we are just calling this sideways capital D shape nub. Whenever we see it, we call this one the boss mark nub, and I think it is significant. There are other examples of this all around the world. Peru, at the Kori Kancha, on the side of the Ganpur temple in India, on the side of a granary, I believe, in Turkey or Greece. We'll have to look through some photos. We might even do a whole episode just on the boss mark nub. But anyway, what we're getting at is there seems to be a pattern with these, that they appear like a language or a stamp, at least a builder's stamp, and we're going to try to run with this idea and see where it goes. We at least know that they show up on different continents, on these similar other megalithic nubbed ruins, so let's try to document them and see if there are any connections. I was going to take a field trip to a nearby mound site, Portsmouth, Ohio mound group. Now, there's not much left of this site. Here's the Kentucky side and the Ohio side. And you can see, even here, they've actually compared it to Avery. It's a central mound group, but then there's also these interesting perimeter outlying, whatever you want to call those. I don't believe those show up on Google Earth anymore. They've probably been plowed over a long time ago. But I believe some of these mounds, I think they're still there. I've looked a couple times on Google Earth, and I see a cluster of trees in this area that's very suspicious. So if I can, I'd like to do a little driving around, see if I can see anything. Also, there's another interesting outline structure or outline of a mound or something over here. Not sure if there's anything of that left, but I think it's worth taking a look. If you try to Google photos, there aren't many at all, and you have to sort through someone's playground children photos, and it's just not ideal. So I'm going to go and try to give us a little bit more clarity on what's left here, what the original layout might have been. So hopefully that'll be an interesting upcoming video. It got rained out this weekend, so I didn't get to go. So hopefully next weekend, weather permitting, I'll get to go. It's about 3 hours away from me, so it's a bit of a drive, but it's one of the closest ones next to Cahokia, and I'm saving that one for a bit bigger of a trip. I have the next episode of Nubs in India lined up. We're going to look at the Karnakata region. I've got a few temples to look at. We've already looked at Virupaksha temple, so I'm going to leave that one out, but I have a lot more in this area to look at. I think that's the best way to go about it. Just go region by region and try to find all of them within that region. So if anyone has any other temples that you don't see here in the Karnakata region that you know about, please send them to me and I'll add them to the episode. Otherwise, I think I've found pretty much all of the temples that there are photos of. And then speaking of the channel, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I am almost at 36,000 subscribers now, up from 2,000 before Jimmy at Bright Insight shout out. I am still very grateful of that, and I hope we can do some more collaborating and sharing of information in the future, along with all these other channels that I'm trying to collaborate with, begrudgingly in some cases, but they're going to come around eventually because I'm showing physical evidence, and you either ignore the truth or you accept the physical evidence. That's all there is to it. So we were going to keep on with this series of nubs in India. We are going to go back to some other topics. I've gotten a lot of comments. I've had to turn off notifications for YouTube because I've just been overwhelmed with comments. I really appreciate them all, guys, especially, the thoughtful, long written out comments. But I'm going to have to take a lot of time and just go video to video and go through all the comments to read all the good ones. A lot of them are just thank yous and, hey, shout out, I came over from Bright Insight. I appreciate those comments too, but I have to sort through all those to get to the long thought out comments. So if you guys do want to engage me more frequently, come on over to Twitter and post with us. It's all out in the open. You guys can see what I post. And if you want private conversations, I have my private messages open too if you want to talk about some more controversial stuff. So it's all open. It's all on the table. If it's physical evidence related, I'm open to talk about it. So a couple questions, though, that I keep getting asked are, so the nubs, are they for lifting, or are they a peg and socket connection for attaching things? So I think those are both valid questions, but I don't think that's the whole story with the nubs. Yes, in some cases, like with the megalithic boxes that have nubs, they do look like lifting bosses. They are in a configuration where, yes, a rope would be wrapped around and the lids would be lifted off. In some Egyptian examples, we have a little bit different shaped nubs, some of them more rounded or a very small, shallow profile. Those are not very conducive for lifting. Rope would slip off, or in some of the other cases, the nubs would snap off if you tried to lift such a large lid with them. We see blocks with nubs at the Menkaure Pyramid, but we also see blocks without nubs, and some of the blocks without nubs are bigger than the blocks with the nubs. So if they didn't need nubs to lift these big blocks, why did they need them to lift the smaller blocks? Now you can see there's an obvious concentration, a row of nubs, and then some of these rows down here don't have any traces of nubs. So it's a clustered phenomenon. And this isn't just at the Menkaure Pyramid. In some of the other structures, like in the Kori Kancha, we see clusters of nubs in specific areas. So it does seem like a language system, a message system to me. There's definitely more to it than just a simple bump on a rock to lift it and put it onto a wall. There's way more sophistication going on here. What are you going to lift with this nub? Where are you going to lift it to? This is the hitching post of the sun at Machu Picchu. This is supposedly a monolith. This is still connected to the bedrock, allegedly. So if that is the case, this nub was not made to lift the entire mountain. It is a aspect of the finished piece, just like the hitching post itself, the same level of refinement. So it's significant for some other reason. Napa Iglesia in Peru. The nubs he has his hands on. This is a monolith again. If those are lifting bosses, where is this being lifted to? This one up here that everyone seems to miss. Why is that nub there? Is it going to lift something? Is it going to hold something down? See how shallow it is. It's esoteric. It's symbolic. It definitely speaks of language to me. These are capital D shape again, this boss mark nub we've coined the term for. These do look kind of like lifting bosses, don't they? But they're shallow and you can't really get much purchase under them. So I'm going to say maybe on this one. Maybe for lifting. Vilcabamba. These are nubs on bedrock. Again, where are you lifting this to? How are you lifting it? In what configuration are you attaching tackle to these nubs? Why are they in a row like this? And why is there a cluster of 3 up here? This seems symbolic, esoteric to me. This seems more language-based. Ollante tambo. Bedrock again. What are you lifting with these nubs? What are you hanging by these nubs? See the difference in the shape. We have rounded conical nubs, and we also have square profile nubs. Round conical profile nubs are somewhat rare, but if you watch Ziggy Dan's recent video, The Tomb of the Patriarchs, there are a bunch of these, or at least a few of these, conical nubs there. Good connection. The Sun Gate. Again, large blocks without nubs, smaller blocks with nubs. Clear concentration, looks like a pattern, looks like a message. Now, I do have to point out, and thank you to Chris over at Stone Nub Language account on Twitter. He's pointed out, showed me some old photos. There has been reconfiguring going on here. Not complete reconfiguring, but there has been some tampering. So this block, for example, right here, if you look in the old photo, this block is not there. You have this double nubbed block. It goes down to the next row down here. This block is not there. So that was replaced, repositioned later, sometime after the 1900s. Also, there was a single block up here at the top in the old photo that is no longer there today. I'm not sure if that's this block down here or if it's gone completely, but that is not the same as today. Also, the rubble stacked wall in the background, it looks a lot different in the old photo. It's a lot more ruinous. It's not nearly as tightly packed and configured as it is today, and some of these built-in steps are not there. I have a lot of really good new photos to show you guys. Unfortunately, right now they're just not organized. I've been dumping a lot of my phone photos onto my computer. I've already filled up my phone again with more photos. But what I would like to do is maybe once a month have a live stream where I just organize all the photos that I'm dumping from my phone every month. And I think it'll be a good way for us to engage and collaborate, go back and forth about what we're looking at. Maybe you guys can give me some more references. But I've got a lot of different things here. I've got elongated skulls, I've got architecture, I've got art, I've got petroglyphs, hieroglyphs, geoglyphs. I've got it all. So I really need to go through and put all these things in the correct folders and really get organized. But I'm finding a lot of good new evidence. It's coming in like a tsunami now with all these extra researchers willing to help. I want to say that I appreciate all the researchers who are collaborating and engaging with the community. It is really, really frustrating when presenters post videos and then they don't engage with the community at all. It feels like you're screaming at a brick wall when you have something good to tell them and they don't respond. So, to all those researchers out there who actually engage with their communities, I really appreciate it. I'm sure all of you all appreciate it too. It's one of the best feelings when you can get some interaction with a like-minded person. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say today, guys. Just a little update, let you know I'm still here. I'm in the background. I'm behind the scenes right now, trying to get my mind together before we tackle some of these more advanced topics. I find myself getting into some more out there ideas lately, and I'm trying to give them all the credence they deserve and take them with an open mind. So if you guys just bear with me, we can take our time. These ancient ruins aren't going anywhere. No pressure. So thanks for hanging out with me. We'll talk to you next time.